Have you ever wondered what would drive a man to give up all his belongings, to move into a monastery and dedicate his life to God through solitude and prayer? Thomas Merton was one such man. Welcome back to Searching the Archives. Today I'm going to give you a quick review on the Seven Storey Mountain by Trappist Monk Thomas Merton. This book plumbs the depths of that very deep question. You know, I think a lot of religious people and secular people alike ask themselves, it's like, okay, I get it. You believe in God, but couldn't you have better served God by, sheltering the homeless or feeding the hungry? Acts of mercy. Surely the active life is the best thing you can do with your time in this life. And, Merton's answer to that is a resounding no. He basically explains how, the contemplative life, union with God through prayer, this is the goal. And that through an abundance of God's love that bubbles up within us, we become super contemplatives, and we have almost no choice but to share the love of God with those around us through these acts of mercy. That's the peak, that's the goal, that's Christian perfection. You could almost say the summit of a seven-story mountain. All right, all lame jokes aside, this book has a lot of variety. It's just phenomenal. I mean, it's not simply a theological work or a conversion story. Merton is funny, he's poetic, he's an artist. Really, he's a phenomenal writer. And that really comes through in this book. You can be talking about the theological meaning of baptism in one chapter, and the next chapter can be talking about the beautiful rolling hills of upstate New York in autumn with the leaves changing colors. How he writes, I can't do it justice in this review. You walk away with compassion for Merton. There are some touching moments throughout his story, and you understand he's a man with a big heart. He cares deeply about the poor. He cares deeply about social justice issues. He's anti-war. At the same time, he doesn't believe that the state is the answer. He doesn't believe that, if we simply rearrange the material goods in our society, that we're going to usher in a man-made paradise here on earth. He rails against communism from an intellectual standpoint throughout the book. It's really quite interesting. I would say that this book is geared towards the readership of a recent convert or someone on the road to a conversion. The title's a bit misleading. The Seven Storey Mountain sounds like he's reached the pinnacle. This is the beginning of Thomas Merton's writings and the beginning of his spiritual life. It's the road into the church and into the faith. From that, we have, if you know Merton, he's written other works. I haven't read any of them myself. This book has definitely inspired me to check out more Merton, to learn more about what he's written. I know that later in his life, he became somewhat interested in Eastern religions, and I think that he's often critiqued for this. But I read somewhere that it's not that he was looking elsewhere. He was a Catholic priest, and he died a monk of the Abbey of Gethsemane in Kentucky. Rather, we understand the theological differences between the natural and the supernatural, that grace is infused in baptism, which can elevate the Christian to the supernatural levels that you read about with the saints. Merton, I think, was very interested in what could be achieved by the natural alone. And there he may have had interest in learning about other traditions, Zen Buddhism, things along that line. He was never looking to jump out of the bark of Peter and into another religion. Rather, he was interested in what man could achieve on the natural level without supernatural grace from God. At least I've read that. I don't know if that's entirely true. Someone who's a Merton expert, please fact check me on this. And if I'm wrong, please leave a comment. At least that's my understanding of the complexities of the later Thomas Merton. Again, this book is firmly in the early writings of Merton. There are lots of pictures circulating on the internet of Thomas Merton. Oftentimes he's, gazing into the distance with this look like he's found the secret to happiness in life. I've always been sort of captivated when I saw these pictures, and I think it points towards the thread that's running through this book. The central theme is man at war with himself, the simmering, bubbling cauldron of man dealing with his own internal strife, anxiety, and seeking the transcendent, seeking God. And I want to read from the book a short excerpt for you that I think illustrates this beautifully. Merton says, By this time, I should have been delivered of any problems about my true identity. I had already made my simple profession, and my vows should have divested me of the last shreds of any special identity. But then there was this shadow, this double, this writer who had followed me into the cloister. He is still on my track. He rides my shoulders, sometimes like the old man of the sea. I cannot lose him. He still wears the name of Thomas Merton. Is it the name of an enemy? He is supposed to be dead. But he stands and meets me in the doorway of all my prayers and follows me into church. He kneels with me behind the pillar, the Judas, and he talks to me all the time in my ear. He's a businessman and he's full of ideas. He breathes notions and new schemes. He generates books in the silence that ought to be sweet with the infinitely productive darkness of contemplation. And the worst of it is, he has my superiors on his side. They won't kick him out. I can't get rid of him. Maybe in the end he will kill me. He will drink my blood. Nobody seems to understand that one of us has got to die. I hope that gives you a taste of the caliber of writer that we're dealing with here, and maybe prompts you to take a look at this book. Again, this is The 7 Storey Mountain by Trappist Monk Thomas Merton. I hope you got something out of this review. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and have a great day. Thank you.